Hi, welcome to AP Physics 1 at Millbrook High School. So I'm Miss Baker, and I thought I'd take a minute and introduce myself. So I went to college as a math major to begin with and decided I hated math but loved physics. So I changed my major and eventually added on education. So um, I started student teaching at Athens Drive High School and thought I was going to eventually figure out what I really wanted to do with my career when I grew up. And I guess I'm still trying to do that because I love teaching and I've been doing it for quite a while now. So I student taught at Athens Drive and then spent the next 8 years there. Uh, Working, getting involved in the school, helping develop the STEM Academy there. I got my national board certification, did an externship at Lord Corporation, now Parker Lord, working in their electromechanical lab for a while. And the whole time was teaching AP Physics. I was at Athens for 8 years, and this coming school year, the 2020-21 year, will be my sixth year at Millbrook High School. So since working at Millbrook, I have had a lot of wonderful experiences here as well. I absolutely love it. I have helped out with the Millbrook Gear Cats, our robotics team. I'm serving on the school's equity team, and I participate in a county program called Summer STEM, where the coaches, we take participants and train them in project-based learning and how to incorporate authentic experiences in their classrooms and take them around to area businesses and let them see, well, what skills that you're teaching in your classrooms are really important for our students to have when they go to college and when they have future careers. Um, so in my free time, I really love animals. I love running with my dog. I like to sit on the couch and read a book with my cat. I also have a turtle. He doesn't really like to do much. But then I also foster animals, usually cats and kittens, for the SPCA of Wake County. Ooh, sometimes puppies, but that's a little intense. So if you want to know a little bit more about me and the things that I do outside of school, then you can also find that on the class website, www.mkbaker.net. If you go to About, you can read all the craziness things that I do. But I would like to take a look at the AP Physics 1 course. So what is AP Physics 1? Gosh, so physics always makes your schedule sound super impressive to people, but in reality, it means that you get to shoot Nerf guns and play with Slinkies in school. We are going to be like playing with toys, doing experiments, cars and ramps, all kinds of things. We'll get to look at everyday situations and contraptions and finally have some answers to, hey, I wonder why that happens the way it does. So physics is definitely a challenging course. A lot of people are afraid to take it, but it's more like solving puzzles every day. So puzzles take everyone different amounts of time. So a lot of people feel stressed when they're the last one in the room that's finished with a problem. But it's just a puzzle. If you think about it that way, it's not quite such a big deal. You're training your brain to think a little bit differently. And also, if you're the first one finished with a problem, that's fine too. Don't have any anxiety about like what is everyone else doing when you're learning physics, because while this is an AP course, it is the intro level physics course. So you're not expected to have any real prior knowledge of physics, beyond just some everyday observations that we all make. Um, so even though physics is challenging, I strongly believe in mastery learning. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but there are going to be reassessment opportunities for everything we do. You will always have a chance to earn a grade that demonstrates your understanding if you're willing to keep working. So in physics, the content that we'll go over kinematics. That's just the basics of motion, how things move, how can we describe their motion. We will talk about forces. That's the why things move the way they do, what made that object accelerate, what made that object slow down, what made it turn. Then we'll talk a little bit more about energy. Energy is a concept you've covered in every science class you've ever taken so far, but in this course we'll talk more about mechanical energy, things in motion or things that have the ability to move. Then we'll get into rotation and objects that might have circular motion. We'll get toward the end of the course with wave motion, oscillators whose motion can be represented by waves. We'll talk about musical instruments and harmonics. And then finally, we'll end the course with electrostatics and electric circuits. So even though during this course you're going to have required assignments to do, those required assignments are not going to take up all of your time. This is not going to be you have these specific assignments that you have to do for this AP course and you are working 3 hours a day every single day on it. That's just not going to happen. On your required assignments, you should be able to finish mostly within class time with a little bit of work for maybe an hour a week outside of class is typical. Now, beyond that, if you find that the required assignments are not completely building your foundational knowledge for physics, then there are plenty of suggested assignments or optional assignments. And it's an AP level class. Most of you you've been in school for years and years. You probably have an idea of how you learn best. So some of the optional assignments, there are suggested readings that go along with every unit that we're going to talk about. And those suggested textbook readings, some people really get a lot of information from the textbook. Some people like to preview what they're going to learn in class the next day by scanning through the textbook the night before. And other people just don't get things from the textbook. They might need to see some things, to look at some play around with some interactives, to maybe try once they've heard about some stuff in the classroom, they want to experiment with a simulation or in addition to what we're doing in class. And then maybe you just need to check yourself with some practice questions. So we have additional resources that can help you along the way, but we'll try some of them during classes at the beginning, but it's going to be up to you to manage your resources and how you learn best. And I will support you absolutely the entire way through that. There are also reassessment opportunities. If you thought you knew something and we get to a test and you bomb it, it's not a big deal. Physics is challenging and it's different. It's not like any course you've really ever taken before. So there are always ways to completely replace those grades, study a little, relearn the information, fill in those gaps, because usually if something goes wrong, it's because there was one concept and you missed it the whole way through. But that's okay. Once we fix that, once we kind of fill in those gaps and build on a more solid foundation, then you take a reassessment and that grade the old grade completely disappears and your grade reflects your understanding. So that is my goal for the course, to help you really build a solid foundation. So the skills that you'll need in the course, most of them are just general math and science skills. With the math, the level of math that you'll need, you don't need anything past Math 2 for this course. We will go over some concepts. We'll go over some things like when we get later in the course to harmonic motion and waves, we'll talk about sine functions and things like that. And That scares a lot of students because you don't cover that until pre-calc and usually the end of pre-calc. But if you're taking the Math 3 pre-calc track at the same time as AP Physics 1, you are absolutely on par for this course. No pun intended there. But you are right on track. You'll probably find if you're in that situation that a lot of things in later math classes you'll find easier than everyone else does because you've already learned that in physics. So don't be intimidated when some people taking this course are taking calculus. If you're taking calculus, you're set math-wise. You're absolutely fine. If you are not there and you're starting out in Math 3, you're also fine. It might take you a little bit longer to answer some of the questions than some of the other students in the class who recognize the math immediately, but that's absolutely fine. There is no problem with that. You're not behind at all. So to make sure we are all kind of starting with some physics experience, learning what this course is about, there is a summer assignment. Your summer assignment is to read the information on that website, www.mkbaker.net. You don't have to go super in depth, but just have an idea of what's going on, kind of scan through, know where the resources are. So when you get to a point where you might need to know something, like you know where to find that information. So the second part of the assignment is to sign up for this Quest homework system. That's through the University of Texas at Austin, but their fall courses are not available until late July, or last year it was early August even. So we're going to hold off a little bit on signing up for that course. There will be an announcement on the website when that course is available to sign up for. Don't try to sign up early and get into the 2019-2020 course from this past school year. Just wait a little bit. Set a reminder on your phone for like August 1st to do that. Next, there's a student information form so I can find out a little bit about you. And then number 4 here is the most important thing. There is an assignment where I want you to do some physics over the summer. And by doing physics, I don't mean like solving math problems. I mean, go watch some videos and go have some experiences. Take some random things apart, toss a ball with a friend, go make some observations. And then I'm really excited to see what everybody comes up with, and we'll talk about those more when we're back in school in August. And then 5, this article, 7 things my students know in June that I wish they knew the previous September, is really all about your mindset toward this course and toward physics. So please read that and please remember it throughout the course. Grades are important, but they aren't the end all be all. And if you focus on your understanding, the grades will come. And then finally, enjoy your summer. Like, give yourself a little bit of a break this summer. We all need it. We all deserve it. So I'm excited to meet everybody and get to know everybody. And I hope you're having a great end of the school year and a great summer. Thanks.